Most Uber drivers know they're spending money on gas. That's obvious. Every time you pull into a gas station and drop 40, 50, even more in the tank, you feel it. But gas isn't the only cost that gets a lot of drivers in trouble. It's all the other expenses that are quietly eating away what you're actually making. Because if Uber pays you $25 for a ride, you didn't make $25. And if you're only subtracting gas when you calculate your earnings, there's a pretty good chance you're making a lot less than what you think. Today, we're going to go through some of the biggest hidden costs of driving Uber and Lyft, including one that a lot of drivers probably don't consider at all. And once you understand these, you can make much better decisions about which rides are actually worth taking. Hey everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to the Rideshare Guy. And that's right, today we're going to be talking about the different costs that are associated with driving Uber and Lyft that you may not even realize. So let's break it down and let's share exactly what you need to know so you can be profitable. All right, so let's start with the biggest one drivers probably overlook, and that is depreciation. Every mile you put on your car is taking some value out of it. Let's say you buy a car for $30,000. You start driving Uber and put 30,000, 40,000 miles per year on it. After a few years, you might have well over 100,000 miles on a car that you would have had maybe 30 or 40,000 miles if you weren't using it for rideshare. Now go look at the difference in value between those two cars. The difference is a real expense. You don't necessarily see it today because nobody sends you a depreciation bill every Friday. You see it when you go to sell or trade the car. And suddenly that car you thought was worth $15,000 is really only worth $9,000. That's money you lost while earning money with the car. This is also why I don't love the idea of buying an expensive brand new vehicle specifically to drive Uber. You need to look at how quickly you're going to put miles on that vehicle and what that's going to do to its value. Next is insurance. And this is something you absolutely need to understand before you start driving. Your normal personal auto insurance policy may not cover everything you're doing while driving rideshare. Depending on your insurance company and where you live, you may need an additional rideshare endorsement or a different type of coverage. That could mean paying an extra $20, $30, $50 more every single month. The exact number is going to depend heavily on your vehicle, insurance company, location, and driving history. But let's use $40 a month as an example. That's $480 a year. So if you're driving 20 hours a week, that's another expense that needs to come out of your earnings. And insurance is one of those things where you're trying to save a few dollars by not telling your insurance company that you're doing rideshare can become a much bigger problem if you ever have an accident. So know what your policy covers. Then we have maintenance. Let's say your car needs an oil change every 5,000 miles. If you're driving 30,000 miles a year for Uber, that's 6 oil changes. If you're driving full-time, you might be doing it every single month. And let's just say if you're doing it $70, that's going to be $420 for the year. That's just in oil changes. You're also accelerating everything else. Brake pads, rotors, air filters, wheel alignment, suspension components, spark plugs, fluids, and eventually you're going to have real repairs. Even something like brakes that last a normal driver several years can come around much faster when you're putting thousands of miles coming from rideshare. That's why I always recommend thinking about maintenance as a cost per mile instead of waiting for the repair bill. If you set aside 10 cents per mile for maintenance and repairs and drive 30,000 miles, that's $3,000. So maybe you don't spend $3,000 this year. Great, keep the money because eventually something is going to break. Tires deserve their own category because they're another expense drivers tend to forget until they suddenly need 4 of them. Let's say a decent set of tires is going to cost you about $800 installed. And let's say you get about 40,000 miles out of them. That's about 2 cents per mile just for tires. Doesn't sound like much, but drive 40,000 miles and there's your $800. And rideshare driving isn't necessarily easy on tires either. You're constantly stopping, turning, pulling into parking lots, hitting potholes, and driving through city streets. If you're in a market with bad roads, you're probably familiar with that. So now we got gas, depreciation, insurance, maintenance, tires. We're still not done. And this is where something like Gig U can be really useful. Instead of just looking at an Uber offer and seeing, say, $12 for the trip, Gig U can help you determine whether that ride is actually profitable based on the numbers that matter to you. And here's the best news. Gig U is not just going to be on Android anymore. No, they're coming to iOS very soon. In fact, if you have an iPhone like I do, they are currently having a wait list. So you can join right now and get on that wait list, and they'll let you know exactly when it's coming out. So this is where you don't even have to worry about the costs. All you have to do is figure it out one time, put in that information, and then that is going to tell you if a ride is profitable or not, just by simple color coding. Red, don't take it. Yellow, kind of in the middle, and then green, good to go. So we'll have the link in the description below. So if you want to check it out and sign up, highly suggest it. Remember, the goal isn't just to make money driving. It's to know how much of that money you're actually keeping. Now here's the one that almost nobody talks about, opportunity cost. So let's say Uber sends you on a ride that's going to take 45 minutes from pickup to drop off, and it's going to pay you $18. You might think, okay, 18 isn't terrible. But what else could you have done during those 45 minutes? Maybe it's a Friday night. Maybe you're sitting in the busiest part of your market. And accepting a mediocre $18 trip takes you 30 miles outside your busy area. Now you have to drive back. The ride didn't just cost you gas and mileage. It potentially cost you the better rides that you could have taken instead. That's why dollars per mile isn't the only number that matters. Time matters too. Where the ride ends matters. What time you're driving matters. Demand matters. A $20 ride at 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon could completely be different from a $20 ride at 11:30 on a Saturday night. That's also why blindly accepting every ride is such a bad strategy. You're using a limited resource, or time. Use it on the rides that make sense. And finally, taxes. This one works a little different because you're an independent contractor. Uber isn't normally withholding taxes from every payment like a traditional employer would. So if Uber deposits $1,000 in your account, don't automatically think, hey, I made him $1,000. I can spend $1,000. You have business expenses that may reduce your taxable income, and you need to properly track your mileage and eligible expenses. But depending on your situation, you may still owe taxes on the profit. And that's why you don't want tax season to be the first time you start thinking about taxes. Track everything throughout the year. Track your mileage, keep your records, know approximately what you're making after expenses, and set that money aside accordingly. Talk to a qualified tax professional if you're not sure how any of this applies to your specific situation. So, what does a $30 ride really pay? So, let's put this all together. Uber offers you $30 for a ride. Let's say you're driving passenger, completing the trip, and getting yourself back somewhere useful. You drive 35 miles. You didn't make $30 in profit. Maybe gas costs you around $4. Then you got depreciation, maintenance, tires, additional insurance costs, eventually repairs. And then you've got taxes on whatever profit is left. I'm not saying every 35-mile, $30 ride automatically loses money. Your costs are going to be different depending on what you drive. Someone driving a paid-off Prius is going to have a completely different cost structure than somebody with a brand new $50,000 SUV. That's exactly why you need to know your number. How much does it actually cost you to drive 1 mile? Because once you know that, Uber offers start looking very different. A ride paying $1 per mile doesn't mean you're making $1 per mile. If your vehicle actually costs you 40 cents per mile to operate, you're making 60 cents per mile before accounting for taxes and the value of your time. And deadhead miles can make it even worse. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. Stop thinking about how much Uber pays you. Start thinking about how much you keep. You don't have to calculate every penny perfectly, but you should have a realistic idea of your cost per mile. Gas, depreciation, maintenance, tires, insurance, and then you have to consider your time and taxes. Because you can drive around all week, put $1,500 into your bank account, and feel like you had a great week, but revenue isn't profit. And once you start thinking like a business, instead of just looking at what Uber puts on the earnings screen, you can make much more smarter decisions about when to drive, where to drive, and most importantly, what rides you should decline. But I want to know what your thoughts are. Are you taking into account all of the costs associated with driving and actually realizing how much money you are losing to expenses? Are you making sure that you are putting away for things like maintenance or a new car? Are you excited for Gig U to come to iOS? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to know why most Uber drivers don't make great money, check out this video right here so you don't fall in that trap. Make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one.